Hi, and welcome to the very first episode of Anagnorisis and Peripetia. My name is Jay, um, and I am the guy you're going to be staring at every time you come to see this channel. I'm the creative director of Studio Comic Kazi. You haven't heard of us yet, and that's actually why you're watching this video. Studio Kamikaze has existed for about 10 years now and involves about half a dozen people, myself included. And the goal was to publish comic books. I'm the only artist, so the onus of creating the actual graphics rests on me. And I haven't. I haven't because I'm terrified. It's difficult for me to admit, but I'm scared of what the public is going to do to my work. I'm scared that it will be considered bad art, that people will mutilate, mock, and destroy it. And that fear has crippled me from doing anything with my work. Now, I'm not just a graphic artist. I sculpt, I paint, I make miniature war games terrain for things like Warhammer 40k, Necromunda, Mordheim, things of that nature. But when it comes down to actually getting my artwork out, I freeze. I'm paralyzed with fear. And as I understand it, that's a common characteristic of the creative mind. Enter Anagnorisis and Peripetia. This is not an art tutorial channel in the strictest sense. Yes, I will be making art on this channel, and you are welcome to follow along and make the same things I'm making. But I'm not going to be talking you through the process step by step. Instead, I'm going to talk you through the process of becoming a better artist up here. The term Anagnorisis and Peripetia was initially coined by Aristotle, and it refers to a key moment in a story in which the protagonist, the main character, discovers something. Anagnorisis literally means discovery. And then Peripetia is how the story changes as a result of that discovery. Spoilers coming up, but I won't mention anything recent. Neo finally realizing, accepting that he is the one in the first Matrix movie, the only Matrix movie I like, incidentally. And I'm not interested in arguing with people about that, just Neo realizing that he is the one. That's Anagnorisis. That's the discovery moment. And then Peripetia is how the story shifts, rather dramatically, from there on. Aristotle cited such works as Oedipus Rex. And I'm not going to go into any more detail because this is a family channel. But look into it. There is a key moment in Oedipus Rex in which the main character, Oedipus, realizes something important. Yes, nod along if you know what I'm talking about. And then the story changes. Yeah. Sixth Sense. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen Sixth Sense, but there is a moment in which the protagonist, played by Bruce Willis, realizes something important that changes the story. That is Anagnorisis and Peripetia. Now, why did I choose that as the title for my channel? Because artists out there watching this, I am trying to find my own anagnorisis, my own discovery. That I am good enough. That I can do this. And as a result, I intend to change my story. And I'm taking you along with me for that, in the hopes that it will inspire you to realize that key discovery that you are good enough. That the trolls and the haters and the cruel people of the world just don't matter. You make good art. Today, well, there's a couple key things about this channel that you need to know. One, I'm not going to read the comments. Now, before you get upset, my wife is going to be reading through the comments on this channel. If there's anything that I need to see, she will let me know, but I do not need to waste my time with trolls and silly people who have nothing constructive to offer. I don't. Got better things to do. 2, I'm not going to work on a schedule here. I'm going to work on whatever I'm inspired to do. And you can come along for that. Again, the point of this channel is not to teach you how to make what I'm making. It's to teach you how to think like a successful artist. And we're going to go on that trip together. So today, I'm going to be making horns. Yeti horns, specifically. I always imagined Yetis having horns for some odd reason. I think because I imagine them like yaks, kinda. And I made a set of horns for my wife at one point, and I've been jealous ever since. So I'm going to make myself a set of Yeti horns, and we're going to hang out, and we're going to talk art while I make some Yeti horns. So without further ado, I will move us both over to the crafting table. You'll no longer get to look at this handsome mug. You'll be looking at my table, but you'll still hear this voice. See you there. All right, welcome to the crafting table. This is one of 3 tables that you will see throughout the process of this channel. The crafting table, there's also a drawing table, and the digital table. But today we're crafting, making horns. These are the ones I made for my wife. She was doing a photo shoot in which she had to appear as a demon, succubus specifically. If you don't know what that is, ask your parents. And I always thought these were really cool. I like the way they turned out. So I wanted a set of horns of my very own, but I wanted mine to be different. These have a cool recurve. I think mine are going to be much simpler in that they won't have that recurve. They will just have a single curve, and they'll probably be significantly shorter. But again, we're not here to talk about horns. We're here to talk about you and your art and rolling rulers. listeners, I think it's important to start with where I'm coming from. As I mentioned before, I am the creative director, beg your pardon, of an art studio, a comic book studio specifically, but long before that, around about maybe the 4th grade, is when I started really taking a genuine interest in art. When I started, if you will, identifying as an artist. And when I decided that, you know, prior to that I wanted to be a fighter pilot for some odd reason, but, you know, because I was small and I liked jets and I watched Top Gun enough times to memorize it. But after that point, I met a kid who drew the Ninja Turtles. Really well, I might add, for a 4th grader. And was very fascinated, not just in the Ninja Turtles, but in him. In his ability to pull an image out of his head, put it on a piece of paper, and have it be identifiable by the people around him. Even people who weren't familiar with what he was drawing, like myself. I was what Mainers call from away. I wasn't born and raised here, so back then, I'm going to date myself a little bit. Back then, the Ninja Turtles were not the international sensation they are now. Congratulations to Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird on their success with that, but maybe I'll achieve that someday. Who knows? But the first thing I gotta do, stop being so dang scared, you know? There are a lot of things you need to know about many of the artists that you admire. And let's start with Jim Henson. If you're anything like me, Jim Henson has a big influence in your life. I skipped a step, but thankfully I'm not walking you through this step by step. Jim Henson was an excellent musician and storyteller had never once made a puppet. When he got it into his head that maybe telling stories using puppets was the way to go. And now he's a household name. In case you're like me and you're an older artist, wondering if it'll ever happen for you, I want to remind you that when Spider-Man was introduced to comics, Stan Lee, Spider-Man's creator, was 40. Same age as me. So, no, never too late. This channel isn't just for kids hoping to become artists. This channel is for everyone hoping to become an artist, hoping to succeed in art. I am talking to every last one of you, young and old alike. So I've let my fear of what the world will do to this stuff I do keep me from letting it out. Imagine if someone like Stan Lee or Jim Henson had a similar fear or a similar reaction to that fear, because it's my opinion that every artist has that fear. But there are artists who let it stop them, and there are artists who let it propel them forward. And then there are artists who just don't care what the public thinks, and they just do what they like. And those artists are rare, beautiful, and I am secretly jealous of every last one of them. I think, and I can't be sure, but I think one of those artists is one of my favorite artists of all time, Salvador Dali, just didn't seem to care at all about the opinions of anyone. Just did his own thing. And that's beautiful, man. That is beautiful. I can't do it. But what I propose to every last one of you, my sweet viewers, is let the fear propel you forward instead of holding you back. This fear has held me back since the 4th grade. I'm 40 years old now, and I'm done being afraid. The way I see it, people are going to pick my work apart. People are going to judge it. It's going to happen. It's an inevitability. To be afraid of an inevitability is pointless, because there are also people who are going to love it and be inspired by it. And it's those people that deserve my work. Now, I'm about to do something that will make every artist and crafter out there cringe. And that is, I'm going to cut these without a cutting mat. The reason for that is this dirty table that you're seeing here. When I moved into this apartment, I found this table on my back porch in only slightly better condition than you see it right now. And I decided, you know what? That's my crafting table. I love having a table that I didn't pay a cent for. And I don't particularly care what happens to it. Yeah, this thing's gonna get messed up, y'all. And I don't care. In a later episode, you are going to see my drawing table. Now, my drawing table is unique in that it has a galvanized steel surface. The reason it has a galvanized steel surface is because a friend of mine works in metal fabrication, and he made me that galvanized steel surface because I had abused the surface of that drawing table so vigorously between painting and stuff like this with sharp objects, hot glue, airbrushing, and the like, that I needed a new table. And he said, dude, why? Why? Let me make you another surface. And that surface cost me, what, 20 bucks? Something like that, if I remember correctly. So when I wreck that, I'll just get another one. Art is creative and it's also destructive. Must destroy to create. Now, sweet viewers, you've had plenty of time to sit there and stare at my hands. And if I know anything about the internet, I know that you've already noticed the scars. The scars, I'm sorry to say, are not part of the destructive process that is also part of art, but a self-destructive process that is a symptom of bipolar 2. And another reason why I've had such a hard time getting up the self-confidence to make my art and get it out there. See, here's the thing. I don't need mean people telling me that my work isn't good enough. And I want to save anyone who's inclined to do so some time and trouble. And this is probably true of most of the artists out there that I'm talking to. Save your breath on telling me how bad you think my work is. Because I assure you, I have said far worse about my work. So I just realized something, and it's a darn good thing that I'm not here giving you instruction on how to make what I'm making because I just cut these wrong. And rather than get upset about it, I'm going to go get more cardboard and I'm going to try again. I'm actually kind of glad this has happened on the channel, on the first episode, because even great artists are going to mess up sometimes. That doesn't change the fact that they're great artists. Let's apply that theory, that pessimistic theory, to other professions for a moment. If a firefighter is trying to put out a building fire and that building burns to the ground, is he a bad firefighter? If a race car driver who consistently comes in the top 10 places dead last in a major race, does that make him a bad race car driver? No. If a teacher works with a student for a whole year and that student still fails her class, does that make her a bad teacher? Good firefighters lose houses. Good race car drivers place last. Good teachers sometimes can't reach certain students. And good artists make bad art sometimes. They make mistakes. Now, like I said, you can let those mistakes hold you back or propel you forward. I think I'm going to end on that note. You don't need to see me make these horns. I'm here to help you with your thought process, not with your horn making. I'll see you on the next episode. Thanks.